How does a person get pleural mesothelioma? Hi, I'm Joe Williams. I'm a mesothelioma trial attorney in New York City. And in order to explain to you the general ways in which mesothelioma forms in the human body, I need to talk to you a little bit about the process of how those fibers get into the system. So we have here a drawing of the human anatomy of the respiratory system. And what we need to understand is that asbestos fibers are teeny tiny fibers, which are an individual fiber is invisible to the naked eye. And these fibers, when we breathe in dust in the workplace from a worker working with an asbestos product, and dust that contains asbestos is being created, that dust goes into the worker's breathing zone, the cubic foot of air around their nose and mouth, represented here in this drawing. And these asbestos fibers go into the nose, into the mouth, down the throat. Now, in our throat, it's important to know that the body has natural defense mechanisms. And there's a complicated phrase. It's called the mucociliary escalator. But all you need to know about that is that just like the hair in your nose, the cilia hair in your nose, there's a similar mechanism in the throat which beats and tries to expel these dust particles from the human body. But because the asbestos particles are so small, they defeat the mucociliary escalator and go down deep, deep into the lungs. After they go down deep into the lungs, these fibers are indestructible. That's one of the important uses of asbestos in industry. It was a tremendous insulator, can't be burned, can't be melted. It's also an indestructible fiber. So if in a steel plant or on a naval ship, asbestos fibers are being used because they're indestructible, well, I can tell you that the human body certainly can't destroy these fibers. And they stick into the meat, the parenchyma of the lungs, and they never leave. These asbestos fibers stay in the lung tissue for a patient's entire life. And over the course of many years, they migrate. It's called the process of transmigration from this lung tissue into the pleura. And the pleura, we see here the lung is encased in what's called the visceral pleura, which is almost adherent to the lung. And then there's the parietal pleura, which is almost adherent to the rib cage. And these asbestos fibers migrate into these pleural surfaces, and it's at that point, when they get into the pleural surfaces, that they cause cell mutation, which can eventually become mesothelioma. Now, you may have many more questions about how mesothelioma is caused by breathing in asbestos. I'm Joe Williams, and I invite you to call the number below. We'll answer your questions. Thank you.